Like the chances are zero, right? I know tired. You are so capable, and you are. You know, you're doing it.
Hey online fam, I actually am coming over here to share our new cards that we got, but I actually feel like I have a word of encouragement for one of you on here. And one of these pictures, it actually resonated with me because of the ripple effect. And so for one of you watching, you are actually being a drop in something that what you do will actually ripple out and create a really, really big and positive impact on the environment around you. But there's actually a stipulation to this. Just like water, there's a difference between when water gets in us, when we take a drink of water, compared to when we get into water, right? When we get into the ocean. And so for you, what this looks like is for this to happen, you can't just let community get into you. You have to get into and dive into community, because what is going to happen and the ripple effect in that community when you join, when community gets into you, is going to make a huge, huge impact, bigger than what you could ever do by the one drop yourself, but it's going to impact those around you, and it's going to grow and grow and grow. So I hope this encourages you today. All right, ladies, if you would wind down your conversation. I love it. Exactly. Yeah, stop. Everyone actually close your eyes. I'm going to have actually everyone close your eyes just for a minute. Awesome. You know what's so great is when you close your eyes, you can also close your mouth. Okay, you can open your eyes. Do it. It's so good. Use the mic. I love it. All right. How many of you guys just had a really great, hello, that light was like good. How many of you guys just had a really great conversation? Oh, yes. Does anyone want to share the word of encouragement, or if it touched you just kind of in like exactly what you needed to hear, and exactly the place that you needed to hear it?
I'll share.
Okay, I love it. Olivia.
She's like, oh gosh, what are you about to share? We both moved here to the Boise area from the southeast. Which is cool. I don't run into southeastern people super often, but just like what we kind of came up with was kind of like find your happy place and go where you feel like you're drawn to, and you'll probably end up loving it and having a really good experience. So yeah.
Nice. Nice. Anyone else?
I guess I could go.
Yes. What's your name?
Well, I'm Marilena.
Marilena.
I just moved here from the Northeast Coast 2 months ago.
Oh, wow.
And that girl right there got me here. So I just see her her sharing a lot of these, and it's so exciting to see. She picked up, my partner here, Jody, she picked the diamond, and I picked the puzzle. And I feel like everybody has a place somewhere. So the message of being special, being a diamond, and having a place somewhere, this kind of is reminds me of that.
Oh.
So, and I have been here about, 20 minutes, half an hour? So I'm just happy to be here.
We're happy to have her.
Great. I love it. I love it. All right, well, if you guys want to grab a seat, you can take your cards back on here, and someone that wants to be in charge can gather them up. And then grab a seat wherever you like. We are going to get started. And I actually feel like, was there someone that had one of the pictures of either the bridge or it was like stairs or something, like a boardwalk almost, or like stairs that went out? Did someone grab that picture? No. Okay, interesting. I was gonna say, actually, kind of got this little like, okay, someone on here is gonna start a really good journey. So for those of you guys that don't know me, my name is Sherry Majors. I'm the founder of Business Bubbly, and we are headed into we're almost at 2 years where this started, which is really exciting. And we've expanded into 7 different chapters around the nation, and we continue to grow. I started this because, I don't know like if anyone else felt this, but over 2020, I don't know, anybody else got like Zoom fatigue? Right? So many people went in line, which was amazing. And I had spent a few years just building out different, I'm an entrepreneur, do digital marketing, online courses, I'm an author, and that's been quite a while building out some of that stuff online and community online. And all of a sudden I could like feel in the atmosphere like this hunger for connection. Because there's nothing that really replaces what happens in the room. The magic of being heart to heart, business to business, belly to belly, soul to soul, especially for us as women. And so everyone zigged, went online, and I like zagged and went in person. That's what I gotta do sometimes. Oh yeah, I'm so glad you're here. And I kind of put it out there on Instagram, and all of a sudden, a few weeks later, we had 50 plus women show up in the room, and I was like, oh, okay, this is gonna be a thing. And so they kept asking for it, and then women all from different states started to ask, how do we get what you're doing? Because what we see what you're doing is really special. Like, how do we get it where we're at? And so it's been really fun to not only build and create and cultivate community here, but also take what we're doing with genuine connection, with better conversation, with equipping and empowering women to get like deeper than the surface and to really create genuine community. And so apparently now the goal is world domination. But it hasn't come without a cost. And it hasn't come without me personally being really vulnerable. And I don't know about you, but I have absolutely been hurt by a lot of women in my past. But I also know because of that I'm also called to really create community. And so it's taken an open heart and vulnerability to come in and say, yes, like I actually love every single woman that comes in the room, that I genuinely want the best for you. And as we've grown in this area, we have a couple other chapters. We've got our downtown chapter, our Moto chapter, we have our 2C chapter. And what was really fun about the expansion of this space was our girls that were traveling in from Nampa, they went, back out to the Nampa chapter, and the girls that were traveling from downtown now stayed in the evening, one in downtown. Or as women got busy, or life happens, or they got booked up with their businesses, some would either go to another chapter or leave or pause their membership or whatever it looked like. And I was like, gosh, this is like still really painful. Like when women come in and then sometimes like, yes, they stay, like of course we want you to stay. And then sometimes for whatever reason they go to another chapter because it's better for their timing or they get booked or whatever it is. And it still feels like it hurts a lot. And I had a mentor of mine say, that's because you care. And when someone leaves, but it doesn't hurt, that's when you know that there's a problem. And so when you come to this room, know that I truly, genuinely love and care for each of you and want the best for you, for your life, for your business, for the connections that you make. And so, yeah, that's just kind of a little bit of background about that and how we started. But I actually want to introduce to you another incredible leader before we get to Shelly, our speaker for today. Viorica, she is one of our co-directors. Come on up here. She is not only an incredible friend, she is a powerhouse of a financial expert when it comes to especially equipping women with financial literacy. She's one of our co-directors. Her and I eat this thing together. We're building it as it flies type of a thing, but her heart for women is huge. She's one of the most generous women that I have met, and her voice is so powerful. So I actually want to, right, Leah knows. Leah's like, I second that. So I actually just wanted her to share just a little bit of kind of her heart and vision for community and what we're doing and whatever else you just feel like you want to share. So go for it.
What a blessing, right? Charity is amazing. And if you guys don't know her personally, I would encourage you get to know her, because there are very few people, like she mentioned, that genuinely feel like have a heart for women and have a heart that yearns to see the best come out of you. So if you don't know her personally, fight to get to know her personally, because she's amazing. So I just wanted to first and foremost welcome every single one of you that are here. Literally, it is so special to me to see women taking a step forward and challenging themselves, putting themselves in uncomfortable situations, because truly it is risky, right? Like each one of us, whether we're getting to know a new person or a boy, you know, or a business or whatever, in an interview, it's so scary because the chances are that you could be rejected, right? But the beautiful thing about Business and Bubbly and what we've created here is that is not going to happen in this space, right? Like, you will not be rejected. Here at Business and Bubbly, the heart behind it is genuinely to be your biggest cheerleader and to tell you, not only can you do it, you will do it, right? If the rest of the world is telling you you can't, just know you can, right? Whatever is in your heart to do, you can do it. And the awesome thing about the Business and Bubbly space is that not only do you get to connect woman to woman, heart to heart, business to business, but community to community. Like Charity was saying, Business and Bubbly isn't just here. It's all over the valley. It's in different states, right? And maybe someday it'll be across the country, right? In other countries. And the thing is that each and every one of you, whatever your business is, whatever you're fighting for, there is a time and a space where you yourself right now you're already a leader, right? Because you're taking the lead. But there's a time when you're going to need to lead something even bigger. And here with Business and Bubbly, you get that chance. And so if for whatever reason you're sitting there thinking, I could never talk in the front, I could never go and do that, I could never lead a chapter, I'm going to encourage you and tell you that you can. And here, Charity's coin voice is that you don't need to have a voice or find your voice. How does it go?
Yes.
Yeah. You just need to step into that, because you already have it. Whatever you have to say, whatever it is that you're bringing to the table, is not just super valuable, it's needed. And only you can do that. Because you have what it takes to bring your flavor, your giftings, your talent, whatever that is, and here's a place to cultivate that. And so if you find yourself in a spot where you are kind of feeling like, you know what, that speaks to me. I really feel like I want to do that. I want to speak. Connect with one of us. We would love to just have that conversation and give you the opportunity to do that. And more importantly, if you find yourself in a place where you're like, no, I want to lead community, right? I know that there are women that need to hear and need to be part of this space. Then let's talk in that regard too, because your ripple effect in your community with your sphere of influence is so beautiful to see that encouragement, that love, that support continue even further and further. And that's our heart for Business and Bubbly and for women in business, is to literally dominate, because it's time that women know their value and understand that they bring so much more to the table when it comes to the details, to, like, you know what I mean? Men are great, and I love them, and I love my husband, and I love, the male presence, But women have that ability to fine-tune things and to pay attention to things that guys just don't. And so you are that person to step up and take the risk and put a bet on you, and I know you can do it. So thanks so much for being here. Thanks so much for taking a chance on you and for putting yourself in an uncomfortable situation. I know you're going to have so much value from here.
Thanks, Theo. So good. All right. We are going to hear now from our guest speaker for today. This woman, Shelly Gartman, her and I have actually been connected for probably 10 plus years now, which is crazy. She was one of the first women to actually take a chance on me. And it's something that I'm really, really grateful for. She was the first, as I was getting into speaking, I'd done a little bit here and there, but really felt not qualified. And like I didn't know what the heck I was doing, and she was hosting a speaker workshop, and I dove in and learned a lot along the way. To have not arrived by any means, but she ignited something in me that allowed me to know not only the strengths that I have and to own them, but also that my voice mattered. And so it's been really an honor to have her here. So Shelly Gartman, she's the founder of Women Ignite, and she is an expert strengths coach. She's a transformational speaker, and she will be one of your biggest fans as well. So let's welcome Shelly Gartman.
Hey, you guys. Oh my goodness, we're just sappy this morning. It's awesome. I actually love it. And you're adorable. I saw you online, but it's so fun to meet you. Are you a financial planner?
I am.
That's so great. Okay, let's talk. Let's talk. I was actually very weird, serendipitous. How many of you believe in like serendipity? Or
Right.
And yesterday I was like, I need a dynamic female financial planner, blah, blah, blah. So anyway, that's how many of you resonated with part of what Charity said, where it's like, as a coach, so I've been a consultant for a long time, I won't tell you how long, and a coach in business and in personal growth, life coaching. And how many of you have ever felt not enough at some point in some space? How many of you have also felt like you were too much? And I snort twice. Oxygen, I don't know. But so you know what I found out, and me too, by the way. So it's this super common thing. We either feel not enough or too much, like most of the time. And I think part of that is just these cultural messages. And I think most people don't mean badly, right? I think we live in a fairly undereducated culture as far as personal growth, as far as awareness, as far as equality, but I've also found in traveling, we're not alone. Like, we can be upset with the United States with whatever we're doing wrong, but you go to another country and guess what? You're doing a bunch of crap wrong too. And so I found that it's like, oh, wherever you go, there humans are, and we screw stuff up, yes? And so just know, I want you to know that you're normal when that not enough, thinking or the little voice in your head comes up, or the too much. It's hard to feel just right. And I think part of it is we do have these differences. One of the things we want to talk about today is strengths. But with different strengths, we approach things different, whether it's a relationship, business. A couple of us were talking earlier about how we grieve different, we process emotions different. Some people come into work and be like, oh, I just lost my father, and they're crying, and somebody else is like, why are they crying at work? Like, especially as women, we can't cry. Like, haven't you been told? That guy doesn't, or even some women are like, you can't cry, you can't show your, underbelly. And so we all do this different. And that's what makes it interesting, fascinating, fun, weird, hard, and it breeds conflict. So it does all the amazing things we enjoy because honestly, right, if you walked into a room and as beautiful and amazing as you are, what's your name? Jody. And what do you do?
Real estate agent.
Jody's a real estate agent. We don't have any of those in Idaho. No.
There's just one or two.
Great.
We're the only two.
Right, you're the only two. I know. I knew that. But like if everybody in the room was exactly like you, looked like you, had the same backstory as you, did the same thing as you, it wouldn't be super interesting, would it? Right? After the first couple of networking things, you'd be like, well, I already talked to her, and then it's her again, and her again, and her. So it makes it really interesting and fun, and like that's why movies are cool, is you look at all the different characters, right? If they were like all the same, I was talking to somebody yesterday about Game of Thrones, and I have a little bit of shame when I tell you how much I love Game of Thrones, because it's kind of a dark movie. There's dark parts that I covered my head for. But it's really interesting, and I like dragons. And so, anyway, I want to see dragons. But all of the characters are such good actors, and they're so, like, descript and unique, and they bring something to that storyline. So do we. But that's where the challenge comes. Because let's take a work example, right? So, there's a customer that had a bad experience, they're complaining, and so one manager or coworker might talk to that person and approach it one way, and another one might approach it a totally different way, right? And you might perceive those ways as right or wrong or works better or less, but we all just do this really different, and a lot of it's based on our strengths. It's also based on our triggers. Right? Some of it's not strengths conversation, it's what triggers me. What am I comfortable with? What am I not comfortable with? But a lot of this, I have found when I did this journey about 15 years ago with Strengths Finders, I was like, I knew some of it, but even the stuff I knew, I learned it at a deeper, more intellectual level, where I could wrap my brain around why. Why does somebody approach something this way and I approach it this way? And how it's different, not wrong. This is huge. Because your subconscious mind, when somebody approaches it different, right? If you don't like pink, how many of you don't like pink? Just, you can admit it. It's okay. It doesn't hurt my feelings. It takes way more to hurt my feelings. So I'm doing it wrong, right? But it's because of our own experience, comfort level, and there's a bunch of reasons why we come up with the belief systems that we come up with, right? But it's so interesting to figure out, especially in relationships. And Strengths Finders by Gallup, it's a great assessment. Lots of assessments. How many of you are like, oh geez, I could go my whole life without doing another assessment? It's okay, you can admit it. This is my favorite. I honestly feel like you can kind of toss the rest of them. I do love love languages because Strengths doesn't really do that. And love languages at work works. How do you like to receive affirmation? How do you not want to receive affirmation? Are you a public person? Are you a private person? There's all these different nuances, right? Not right or wrong. Different. Somebody, if you give them a trophy in front of everybody, they're mad at you because they're embarrassed and they feel exposed. Somebody, if you don't give them the trophy in front of everybody, they're mad at you, because you didn't lift them up. So not right or wrong, different. But our brains go to, well, that's not the way I would do it. Realtors. I was having a conversation with a realtor the other day, and she was like, man, we approach deals different, right? Have you ever had a bit of a contentious conversation with a realtor who's approaching a deal very different? Never happens, right? And you're like, are you trying to blow this deal up? What are you doing? But you figure both of you want the deal, and they might. Different. So how many of you have taken the Strengths Finders assessment? Oh, good. A good chunk of you. How many of you know what your strengths are? Hey, you prepared. Yay. Okay, cool. I hope at the end of today, you'll either learn something whether you ever want to take it or not, but also I hope that, if you want to take it, you'll be a lot more excited about it, because the depth and breadth of this assessment's amazing. I know I have to hurry too. I'm going to watch time. When do I need to be done? I'm going to watch my time. Okay. 6 minutes? Oh, okay. I was like, oh man, I got to go really fast. Okay, so a little bit of context for you strategic context people. Those are a couple of Gallup strengths. Did you smile because you have strategic or context or?
Strategic.
It's strategic, yeah. I see you. Literally, you start speaking people's language. This is also love languages, because they'll be like, oh, yeah, strategic. Don't just be charismatic with me or I will shut you down, right? Strategic people, they're like, oh, charisma, he must be lying. Not always true. So Gallup has 34 strengths that they, after 40 years of research, so it's a very strategic, heady, intellectual take based on research, and it's actually considered a psychology. It's not just an assessment. So So Don Clifton, when he created this assessment, he actually came out of World War II and he was like, well, that was rough. And my heart is wounded. And I want to make the world a better place. Tangibly make the world a better place. So he went back to school for his PhD. What he noticed in psychology was a lot of psychology was based on what's wrong with us. So it's based on genetic dispositions that were, like if you have mental illness in your family or some anxiety or depression or whatever, diabetes, like whatever's in your family. I've got an eye appointment next week because I broke my retina last year and it's still not right. So maybe a few more surgeries for me. But it's amazing how much they go into your family history. Well, if they have heart disease, if they have this, if they have that, and you almost feel like they're saying, well, you're going to have it. So genetic dispositions. And then we have trauma, challenges, hardships, whatever you want to call them. We go through hard things, yes? Yes. Everybody does. If you live on the planet and you're a human and you walk out your front door, or even if you don't walk out your front door, you're going to experience hard things. So a lot of psychology is based on that stuff, the shadow work, shadow side, the tough stuff. So he wanted to base some psychology on the positive stuff, what's right with you, what's the best about you, what's the highest and best strengths that you've been divinely given and appointed with to do the things that you're sent here to do in a way that nobody else can do it just like you. Because with this assessment, the possibility of somebody else having the same strengths as you is 1 in 33 million. Wow. 1 in 33 million. Okay? So the good news is, unlike a bunch of the other assessments, which they're all good, but you're not a dog or a red or a D. I like that because it doesn't put you in a box. This is like a thumbprint kind of. Nobody has that same 34 as you do. So it's really fun to geek out with other people. And even if they did, they wouldn't have your life experiences. They don't have your DNA. So you still are this customized, unique version of you. And yet, as we understand these strengths better, it gives us so much insight into not only ourselves, but how to connect with others. Because we were talking earlier with a couple of us as we were networking, we were talking about projection, right? How we project our beliefs onto others, or how you should do it on others, or, I think everybody should like pink. I don't understand why you don't. Look how pretty that light is. But we project, right? So strengths helps you kind of understand the why behind, well, this is why she's never going to run point on that like you. And it's a good thing. It's a great thing. So let's take some real life examples. First of all, there's 4 quadrants to strengths, similar to other personality tests. Executing strengths, get it done, make it happen. The do. You're doing things. You're not just thinking about it or feeling it, okay? Relational strengths, which are all about people, and I love people, and the ooey gooey kind of lovey-dovey stuff. People-y strengths, okay, relationships. Strategic strengths. Left brain, analytical, concrete, sequential, data, show me the data, right? We're talking to show me the data. When I used to sell cars for my 1 year, I was a recovered mortgage broker, recovering from being a mortgage broker, and I'm like, what am I gonna do? I can't yet support myself with speaking and consulting, so as I build that, I'm gonna go do the hardest sales job in the world and sell cars with 35 men. I knew nothing about cars. I still don't know anything about cars, but I sold them. But it's fine. I just use my strengths, just connect, walk up bravely to people, right? But the engineers, they couldn't figure it out. I'm like, they're so weird, They walk in with this much information, and not all of it was correct, by the way, but they sure thought it was. And they walked in ready to fight, and I couldn't figure out why the stranger wanted to fight me. I'm like, I haven't even made you mad yet. Why are we fighting? But they're going to work themselves up with their data for the confrontation because you're a car salesman, which means you lie. And it was so weird to me. So I figured out you got to put data in front of that person, data quickly that's pretty accurate. And, don't ask them about their life or their children because that's offensive. And then after the deal was closed, they turned into this different person. They're asking me about my life, and they're smiling and flirting with me. And I'm like, what? Where'd you come from? You're this crabby, But I had to reverse engineer that sale. Because the relational person wants you to build the relationship and the rapport first, which is usually how sales is taught. We gotta build a rapport. Not if they don't let you.
Right.
If they don't give a rat's about rapport, come back to that later if it even is relevant. So you can't sell like you buy, and you can't sell like every person's the same because they're not. Then the other category is influence. So when somebody just kind of has that thing, they're influential. They have that, you want to listen to them, you want to have a drink with them, you want to hang out with them. Influence, charisma, right? Influence is harder to kind of articulate because it's harder to kind of put borders around it because they might come across really relational, but it might be more influential. You know, they might have empathy and developer and some of those more relational strengths lower, right? And they might come across like they're speaking and they sound smart and strategic or whatever, but they might just have a team of strategists and doers that do the strategy and then do based on those strengths. So let's take an example of a few of you. You said you did them. Okay, do you want to have me process yours real quick?
Okay.
No, you don't have to. You can be like,
I just don't know if I remember all of them. I
Oh,
know
okay.
that I am a very contextual, data-driven, responsibility type person.
okay, so let's take those three. Responsibility
That's my number one.
is aw. Yeah, everybody need page wisdom, responsibility. So responsibility is one of the ones that I call a beautiful burden.
Ah.
And it is beautiful. It's a strength. It's also tough. These people have to become experts at drawing boundaries. Because everybody's like, responsible person, there's this gravitational pull. You can do all the things. And you're not just responsible at work, you're responsible at home. So you become the person. And then you take on responsibility that's not yours, right?
And if somebody wants to do it for me, then I get pissed. If somebody wants to do it for me, then I get pissed.
Why?
Because that's my responsibility.
Or so you think. I mean, if it is, it is. But like stopping for a minute, slowing down to go fast and going, is it my responsibility? Or a better question, what is my responsibility and where's that edge? Right? Let's say you have adult children or an employee. Like, here's what's interesting. Responsibility, when it goes into the shadow side of it, because all of these are great, but they all have a shadow side that you can tip into, and the slide edge is quick, it happens, right? When you slide into that, you go into enabling, not helping, serving, and it's actually an irresponsible act. It's not responsible, it's irresponsible. So there's that slight edge. When you're using it in the highest and best, area, when it's mature, when it's thoughtful and it's intentional, and it's balanced with your other strengths, like strategy. I can strategically process and decide, am I just trying to take on too much responsibility because I just feel like I'm the best one to do it, or they're just flake, or blah, 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 blah. But is that being irresponsible? Because also they can never rise up and do it or hit their bottom so that they have their breakthrough. Because the breakdown happens and either a breakup or a breakthrough. Hopefully a breakthrough. But sometimes they have to get bloody, right? They have to get bloody. It's like Jerry said, it's hard. I mean, you want to rise up. There's a field of poppies. Everybody's beautiful. Great. You want to rise up? Get ready. The bigger the spotlight, the bigger the spitwads. Okay, that's part of it. There's more juice, there's more joy, there's more connection, there's more betrayal, there's more hurt. And you know what? I'm going to so lovingly say something a little different to what you said.
Awesome.
You might get rejected in this room because you can't guarantee they won't.
That's right.
They might get rejected even if somebody doesn't feel like they're being rejectory. That's probably not a word. But you know what I mean? Or they might develop a friendship and then walk out of here and then they do get rejected. So it's not the context of this thing. This is all about empowerment and safety and trust. And for the most part, you're going to find that way more in rooms like this than just randomly some other things that are not set up that intentionally, right? But you can't guarantee that, and neither can I. And you will be rejected if you step out, and you will get your toes stubbed, and it will hurt. And you will also have moments of bliss and success and fulfillment like you've never imagined. Both ends. Both ends. You can't get away from the pain, the heaters, they'll come. But the thing is, they come anyway. They come whether you step out or not. Sometimes they come friendly fire from home. People have damage and we all handle it the way we handle it. Okay, let's do somebody else. I'm gonna look at my time. Let's do somebody else's strengths. Here, I'll let you read them.
Achiever, relayer, learner, developer, intellection.
Intellection. So achiever, number one achiever, do, make it happen, get it done. Achievers like to do a lot. They like to do big things. They like to measure those things when they're done, give themselves a really hard time for not doing it well enough, or start giving them immediate feedback on how to do it better next time. Achievers, they want to do big things. And she's achiever number one. These are in order by which you lean into them. I like to say these are the way you lead and love the world. Relator. So she can relate with just about anybody if you're willing. You know, the other person has to be willing, right? But she can find a point of connection. She can find a point where she can resonate with you if you allow it. The shadow side, by the way, of achiever is workaholic.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, oh yeah. And it can scare people. What's that?
I divorced that side of myself 3 years ago.
Oh, you're like, see ya, sit down, take a seat, we gotta balance this.
That side.
Yeah, so we learn, right? We can kind of see some of these strengths, but then you can burn out on some of them because you like overuse them. And you can also like take some of them for granted that you underuse that are sitting there going, hey, what about me? So relator, great one. The shadow side to relator is sometimes we make things about us that are not about us, right? It's easy to take a conversation like, I know, oh my gosh, I have a son with autism too. And COVID was crazy. And all of a sudden now, maybe you feel like I took it in a different direction because I was relating so much. Okay, learner, she's got learner. They're all about learning, they obsess about learning sometimes. They're like, whether it's a lot of degrees or whether it's certificates or just online research or traveling, like however you like to learn, every learner can be different. Like all of these kind of depend on you. But sometimes the learners they feel safe learning and they can control that learning and they like that. But when they get, sometimes I have to be like, go do the thing. You know, but your achiever can help partner with that really well. But some learners that are highly strategic, man, I'm like, that's adorable. You have 4 master's degrees, and I go do the work. Go make a difference on the planet. She's nodding. Are you a learner? Yeah. She's like, yeah, that's me. Yeah, and it's amazing. But sometimes you learn and learn and learn until it's like, okay, well, the whole planet just shifted to the time you were learning about the thing, and now you got to learn it all over again. So go do the thing. Developer, very relational. She likes to develop people and pour into people, mentor, however that shows up, teach, however that shows up, because learners often like to teach as well. Sometimes when you value learning so much, it's like, I want other people to learn too. Shouldn't it be important to you? Sometimes it's not as important to other people. You're like, what's wrong with you? You don't want to be smart and learn, but it's just not as high for them. The shadow side of developers, sometimes people don't want to be developed, or they're not ready to be developed, or you're not the one. And that's hard. So sometimes you're like, I gotta quit trying to develop this person who doesn't want to be developed. And then intellection. So she has that, those are both strategic, intellection and learner. So she has a lot of that, strategic thinking, which is great, and kind of balance the doing. When should you be doing? When should you be strategic thinking? When do you need to be relating, which is a relational one, right? And meeting somebody where they are and holding space. And so balancing that's really good. Like sometimes I gotta put certain strengths down for a nap. Why? If I'm in a boardroom, I have command. So if I'm in a boardroom with a bunch of dudes, I might have to go down for a nap a little bit. Or sometimes I have to pull that out in spades, depending on the room. But they don't always fulfill a certain project or conversation or thing that you're doing. You have to really be intentional and actually strategic about it and say, what's the thing that's going to best support what I'm trying to accomplish, not only for me, but for the other people or the project I'm working on. What do I need to be using? And when am I overusing something? Going into that shadow side, and when am I underusing something that deserves to come to the table? So I think maybe we have time for one last person. Okay. You with the beautiful name.
Oh, only because I just took it for something else. So relator, activator, communication, ideation, self-assurance.
Self-assurance is one of the most rare Gallup strengths. It's in the top 5 of the most rare Gallup strengths, especially I think as women. So some of these are DNA nature, some of these are nurture, or what we've learned based on culture, family, all of that. So relator, number 1. So that's why she's like, hi, I want to meet all the people. She's like, you're like me. It's like, there's no, strangers only friends I haven't met yet, right? Like, you want to be my friend, you just may not believe it yet. Yeah. Maybe you don't agree, but maybe we can have coffee and talk about it. And then activator, number 2. So activators, they go, they do the things. Oh, I don't even know what this is, I'm going. Sign up. It's also the shadow side. Right? Because we're signing up for all these things, and sometimes we're wasting money or time, or we sign up for too many things, and we can't go to all the things. And so activators are good at starting things. They're good innovators. They don't finish everything they start, which is okay as long as they know that. Who do you hand it off to? Are you just exciting everybody to go? Cool, just know that. Because you can't do 49 things every day, right? So the shadow side of that, need you fix. Communication. So she loves good communication. How do you like to communicate? Because there's verbal, there's Nonverbal, there's emails, there's texts and emojis, there's, what's your favorite?
I'm more of a verbal.
Verbal?
Verbal, yeah.
So you notice when Jerry said, does anybody do that? Yes, you raise your hand. Communication, right? Communication, relator, activator, all of those together. The way they come together, do you see that? Communication, shadow side of communication. Sometimes communicators want to communicate so much, they're not allowing other people to communicate, like take turns, right? Because sometimes we're like, maybe we're fine. But like if she had answered every question every time, you might be the shadow side of communication, right? Ideation, that's a strategic strength. Ideators get a bad rap sometimes because it's like, oh, you're a visionary, your head's in the clouds, you're always coming up with crazy ideas. Yeah, that's strategic thinking. It's the start of every great invention. We all have these in our hand. This was an idea. Somebody thought about this one day and everybody told them they were crazy, by the way, and it's changed the world. Every part of business, relationship, ministry, it's changed everything. I remember the first time I went to South America, I'm in the Amazon jungle, there's dirt roads, there's motorcycles for taxis, and they're walking around with bees. They got iPhones in their hand. Granted, a couple generations, prior to when I happened, I was like, oh, it's changed these people in the Amazon jungle that some of them had never seen a white person before except on this. I know, because they were looking at me like I was crazy. All right. And the last one is self-assurance. So self-assurance is wonderful because it's like, it doesn't mean they think they're perfect. None of us do. It doesn't mean they don't have insecurities. Don't say live a fearless life. We all have fear. That's dumb. Don't give people goals they can't accomplish. Live a fearless life. Nobody can accomplish that goal. So don't say that. Do the thing anyway in spite of the fear. I like that one. And people with self-assurance have a gift at doing that and encouraging other people to do that. The shadow side is, if your self-assurance isn't healthy, it could be unhealthy, right? It could come across as egotistical. It could make other people feel like, oh, okay. Now, some of our insecurity can come up for us and we can feel that way anyway, and it's not your fault. Like I did not have that experience of you. But I did experience the communication and the self-assurance. Like, I love that. And it makes people feel safe. Because you're not all like flinching, like, oh, right? Because some people are like, well, what? What's happening? So self-assurance is a gift not only to give you self-assurance, but it empowers other people. It's like, yeah, you can stand up here and you can do the thing. You can try stand-up comedy one day like I did, because a friend told me to, and I'm like, heck no. And somebody believed in me. And I was like, no way. And then I walked away and I was like, I'm so scared I have to do that. Because the only things that really scare me in life are sharks. Height, I've never met a shark, but they scare me. The idea. Sharks, heights, I figured out. I did a ropes course one day and about lost my mind. Heights, and apparently stand-up comedy. And all the people I'll never meet. That terrifies me every day. But that self-assurance is something that empowers other people too. It's just, where's my edge? Where's that tipping point where it might become ineffective? So that's kind of just the tiniest little preview of strengths. It's something that when I first saw it, I thought it was amazing. It gave me a lot of great knowledge. But a lot of people don't even remember them if they're not. I can tell you didn't get a good coach on strengths because you don't remember yours. So talk about it. Like, that would be another great thing to do, is like get together, talk about them, everybody that wants to do them, or even if you just want to come listen to what other people say, talk about what yours are, how those showed up for you, talk about what you've learned. Last thing, Paige, you did yours years ago, I know. Like, do you feel like you know them way more now than when you first took them?
Of course. So mine are, do you want me to tell them?
Yeah.
Mine are responsibility, achiever, analytical, significance, and empathy. So once I really understood that, though, now I realize that, like, why I do the things I do. Now I know why responsibility is on crap, and I feel like it's always my thing to take on, or why I overthink every single thing in my life. But I also know I like to make impact, and I like to do something that matters. And so, yeah, it's really fun to step into, what you know is natural for you.
So the call to action is this. Whatever you're doing in your business, in your life, or your philanthropy, I know some people, are maybe retired or they don't work or whatever, but you're here for a purpose. You're here to make the planet better in some way, right? So the question is then what? What is that for me, and how do I go about that? The research shows, and also I've learned this with people, if you are in your highest and best strengths, 80 to 85% of the time, if you can do the job or the role or the position or the relationship in those strengths, you're going to crush it and you're going to create long-term sustainable success. Sometimes when we're out of those top strengths and we're in those lower strengths, you still have them. Good news. You have access to them, but you will burn out more easily because you're living out of your highest and best lane. It's harder. It takes more energy. It takes more effort. You're smart. You can do it, but there's some things you were never meant to do. So learn what to let go of. Learn what to embrace. And I challenge you, if you want to reach out, I could definitely send you the link for that test, or Charity, I know has the link. And I have these little tips for mindset to take it. If you want those, follow me on Instagram or the Women Ignite page, Shelly G on Instagram, or us on Facebook. Message me and say, I want those tips, the mindset tips. Because if we try to think, well, how should I be, or how do I want to be when I grow up? We don't get our strengths, we get somebody else's. So definitely hit me up. I can give you those. And if you want to geek out a little bit about your strengths, send me a message and I'll give you a little mini processing geek out session. Thank you very much for your time. I hope you guys stick around for this content, awesome social media portion. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Shelly. That was so great. What was one of your guys' favorite takeaways to what Shelly was saying?
I love the shadowing. Because you're right, I didn't have a great coach, but I remember achiever and communicator are on my top, so I totally relate to you. But the shadow side is very interesting to me, and I'd love to learn more about that. I'm finding you on Instagram.
Love it, yeah. And Shelly is a wealth of knowledge. She was the one that introduced me to strengths as well. It's been something that's been really
What are
fun.
yours? You should tell them yours.
Connectedness is my #1. Surprise! Futuristic, strategic. Oh, there's some relational one in there. I forget. I think an executing one.
And you can see it, right? Ideation, futuristic, so she could come up with that plan, just not even out of COVID, really, and like execute, make it happen. So you can see all of those converge like for this, yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty fun. And I would definitely say it gives permission to, like what Paige was saying, oh yeah, I naturally do this. And gives you permission to say, I'm really good at this and it's okay. Like connectedness and community and connecting people to people and connecting dots to dots and resources to people and all that stuff lights me up. It's totally my jam. And when someone else doesn't function that way, it's okay. I just know it's not their strength. And I still get to function in mine and they get to function in theirs. So it just really helps give permission for that stuff as well. All right, we're going to dive into a little bit of content creation now. And today is going to be a little bit different just because it's summer, it's fun, it's July, people are out and about. So what we usually do now is actually hear from the women in the room about who they are, who they serve, why they do what they do. This gets into a little bit deeper. Actually, I got to speak on the stage of Bubbly Ignite on how many of you have ever heard the Simon Sinek's Start With Why? Yes, and that's one of our philosophies that we use here. Instead of like what you do, we actually start with why you do what you do. And that really gets into the heart and passion of why you do what you do, and how you do it. But today's gonna be a little bit different because of the content creation. So how we're actually gonna get to know you is by the content that you create. So in the back here, and we can make a big mess. And there are fun sheets, and Abby, would you need any help kind of pull some stuff out and pull the pages out? But there are some really fun sheets that we can make flat lays with. If you're not familiar with flat lays, those are like the fun, put an inspirational thing here and a little notebook here, and you can take a picture and you can make a fun quote with it type of thing. You guys know what I'm talking about with flat lays? Okay, so that would be like, you got your purse, coffee, picture from up here, and it makes like a cute little picture, right? Abby's gonna be taking headshots up here.
You can also use it for your own, I have a tripod phone holder, you can do whatever you want there.
Yes. And so I actually want you to try and create something that talks or that shares why you do what you do in your business. Okay? And then how we're gonna get to know each other, because usually there's a little bit more like you get to come up here, like I make you put your big girl panties on and put the microphone on your face, because like what Eureka was saying, I don't believe that you need to find your voice. You already have a voice, you just need to be empowered to use it. And so we're gonna make some fun pictures or you can take a picture, you can do a fun reel, whatever that might look like, but it's gonna talk about and share a message of why you do what you do. And then when you post it, what I actually want you to do is make our Boise Business and Bubbly Instagram page a collaborator. And so what this will do is then put it on our page as well, so that we can not only highlight you and your business, but now all of a sudden you guys can find each other and follow each other and support each other and do the Hype Girl fan thing online too, right? And so there's fun quotes back there, and grab a couple partners, like have fun with this, like get creative with it. If you want to do a reel, take a headshot, do some flat lays, whatever that might look like, hold a sign, anything like that, like get creative with it. And then you're gonna share on in your caption who you are, what your business is, why you do what you do, who you serve, and just kind of go into a little bit of background in the caption. I'm gonna make the Boise Business and Bubbly Instagram page a collaborator so that we can all see and support each other online for who's in the room. Sound good? All right, I'll turn the music on. Oh yes, go for it, Abby.
I just want people to feel like if you take a picture, you have to pay for it. Because it's one free headshot, but just come take pictures. I'll send like a proof gallery. Doesn't mean like if you take a picture that like you're entitled to like paying for it. Like just come have fun. You'll get a proof gallery sent, probably to emails if you have email addresses for people, right? Yeah. Okay. Yeah, and then their pictures you'll have access to for a while. So let's say in like 2 months from now, I need a headshot, but I took one a couple months ago. You can run to it. But yeah, you can take pictures here. I can take pictures for you. We can pull in more plans. There's jackets, shoes, a hat. The shoes are all like a size 8, so sorry guys. I'm working on making my client closet more. There's a phone here you guys can use. The disco balls, feel free, they don't have to stay over here. You can use them for whatever.
Love it. All right, so we're gonna turn the music on. Feel free to get creative, have fun with each other, grab a couple of women that you wanna make some fun content with. Take as many pictures, like fill your phone if you wanna do a bazillion flat lays, go for it. Just make sure that you are the one that you share with us. Shares the vision of why you do what you do, who you are, a little bit about what you do with your business, and then that way we can make sure to give you a shout out. And just really promote you to our audience, and then we'll all know who's here as well. So, you guys ready? All right, ready? Break.
That does make sense. Like I researched. Also, have you ever heard of black seed oil? Like anti-inflammatory, helps so much good skin. That helps. Yes, I take a teaspoon in the morning and night now. Yeah. Or you can put it on like boots or like dry patches. I just started. Yep. Tastes horrible. Organic. Yeah. Same. I've been reading so much about it.
So I would have it right.
Happy bacon.
Something all figured out here. What is oh gosh, I'm so bad at this. Putting on cute shoes, like, I don't really know how to do life. Like, I can deal with shoes, but anything else. I meant to ask you, I don't think that we talked about this all the other night. What is your and Dylan's business? Yeah, so we're a recruitment firm. We do direct hire, and so that's different than a staffing agency. Staffing agencies, they actually take on employees themselves and retain them, and essentially temp them out, whether that's long-term, short-term, contractual, whatever. We do direct placement, which means we intricately get to know the company and almost become integrated into the company almost. Yes. But they're still technically outsourcing. Really get to know their culture, what they're wanting, what they're needing out of the next person that comes in and takes this whatever candidatorial position that they have, and then we go out and we find them. And it's not necessarily. Sometimes it's a quick process. Sometimes it's not though. And so we really partner with companies that are looking for people who mirror what their success proposition looks like. If that makes sense.
My last job that I worked in, we had something exactly like that.
Yeah.
I would say 98% of the people that were hired in that company were through the staffing company. She was our one person that she knew everybody, she knew the company super well, and had a real grasp on what they wanted. So yeah, that really makes sense. I'm sorry.
Redo all this.
And I'm distracting you. You're trying to do all this.
Oh my gosh, you're so sweet, Olivia. I'm so grateful that we met you because I don't consider myself a very bold person by any means. But when there's a mission that I can stand behind somebody, and I can, just meeting you the other day and your heart behind what you do, it was inspiring. So I'm like, she's someone I want to know.
That's so nice of you. Oh my gosh. That's so sweet. Thank you so much.
I'm super glad that you came today.
It was like,
I'll come with you. What a random ask, but sure, I'll come with you.
Well, if people feel a draw to ask somebody to do something, I'm like, well, that's so nice that somebody would think to ask me to do something, so I should take them up on it if I can,
I love that.
Yeah, no, I enjoyed it. I didn't realize. I really wish that I needed a check, or just a better picture for Instagram or for LinkedIn. Yeah, and I just didn't realize that was happening today. I didn't even put on makeup, and I was like, dang it,
you look great.
It's not headshot ready, you know what I mean?
How do you do this? Do you know how to do this? How?
No, gosh, I seriously do not know anything. I'm really going to put this potion instead might be helpful, and we can just grab it for you. So that way you don't have the orange.
That's the best.
What I posted about well, it's cute, yeah. Okay. That's cute. We'll grab it.
These are like, use me. No, it's good. You're beautiful. You're really sweet, but that is true. I don't have to use it for anything.
Me either.
I think she's doing it. Yeah. Sorry. I was like, what are you talking? Are you guys hello? Are you guys in line for that? Yeah. Okay.
You can go for us.
Oh no.
We're gonna do.
Is this the line for the headshot situation?
Yes.
Okay. You're right. I should just do it and then I don't have to utilize it, but at least see it. I know. I'm gonna go take a picture. And then we should go. Yeah, that'd be great. I know Alex is in my head. Will you send me that too? I put it in. Isn't it like a big networking, but it's a tool? It's a membership-based thing. We'll have some events.
We sent out a why are you friendly like flyer for this list that we got from Teddy, and I just got some backlash on sites going like awful. They were like, how did you get this information? Because it was a list that Teddy had gotten from her previous employers, and they were literally like, how was this information leaked? I'm not part of anything. Like, and then I had girls, like people calling me till like 9 o'clock at night being like, I want to know how you have my information. What list did you pull? What bureau? All this stuff. I was like, and so then Teddy asked me, she was like, are you going to send another one? I was like, no, I'm not actually. Right now, yeah, we're actually, what do you just send mailers? Yeah, I'm like mailers, and so I told Dustin, I was like, I'm already in the phase of doing an expansion of email. Are you cool? That's what we we started our business, that we'll have like 1 or 2 more people.
Alright, 5 minutes. 5 minutes, so get whatever shots you want.
What kind of, do y'all have in mind, like, you think of like somebody coming out of college is you're looking for, or somebody? I think we would take anyone. I don't think we have any door necessarily closed as long as they have the right mindset and like, value the culture. Yeah. And I think that's really the big thing. Because, you know, skills can be taught and people are comfortable and they're willing to learn. I am not like I used to work in marketing, and so for the last 9 years I was K through 12, and then I went into adult education. Oh, cool. Yeah. And so I am like not a believer that whatever you learn, whatever you're stuck with, that's the only thing you can do. I mean, definitely it's transferable skills. So yeah. And we're open to anything as long as they just are the right thing. Yeah. Oh, I got sticky lemon. That's funny. I put mine on there. Oh. Can we do both? Together then individually? I have this chair too. Great idea. No, I do not. You're fine. That's why it's my job. You gotta tell us that's kind of having my
mark, but it's hard.
I think I'll just roll with it. Thank you.
So I haven't really changed much of the started I'm on there and
Your job shows.
I don't know what to do.
All right, Lexi.
Good one, good one.
I wasn't expecting all of it. I was like, I don't know what to do. I was like, this is what I did with kids, so maybe this is
That looks so awesome. Your outfit too.
Thank you. Simple. I just needed a little service. I want to do it. Good idea. I was looking at that. Thank you so much. I know, I'm like, well, I've already got the shoes on. Love it. So we'll see. I might have to sit down. I'm not a stand-up person. Like, I'll do one, but I'm like, well, let's just go with it. Okay. That's a lot of pressure. I'm not like, it's cute. It's me working. Working is yeah. That's what else to do. Yeah. My father and dad would always be taking cameras and like pull it up. Clear some space.
All right, ladies. All right, grab your tickets. We are going to do our raffle. We have a couple really fun prizes. All right, grab your raffle tickets. Grab your raffle tickets. All right, the first one. This first prize comes from Abby, our photographer, Grain of Sand Photography. She's doing 20% off your next session and the cutest little necklace. So get your tickets, Who's the winner? The last 3 digits are 808.
Oh, that's me.
Yay! All right, it's right here. Come grab your prize. We have another one here.
Look at that.
Who is? Oh, I know who this is for. This is just like a cute little self-care, like just like a little loofah type thing. I feel like our Prego mama. Because all of our Prego mamas. Because you are going to give birth in like 10 weeks, and I am 6 months postpartum, and we just need all the love that we can get with all of our new babies. This next one is a cute little cup for 806. Yay! All right. Oh, cute little glittery cup. And then our last 2, these ones are actually, this is going to be for a fun little connect date with the 2 cards that I pull out of here. We do this for every one of our Sip and Socials. And these are little gift cards to Blue Pal. They're one of our, they've been one of our fun sponsors. We've done events over there. She's been a bestie for a little while. And so you guys get to go on a little ice cream date together. And it is 800 and 804. Yeah.
I feel like I have to turn it down since you already did.
No, you win too. And guess what? Actually, I'm gonna pull one more because pregnant moms get free froyo at the cabin. This is gonna be a 3-person ice cream date. 801. Yay! All right, Jen, Olivia, and 804. Hey, Delaney. Awesome. Okay, you guys get these two. And your ticket is the baby that you just get to join because you get free froyo at All right, to finish this out, we always not only start with community as we enter with our fun connections, but we end with community, and that is our group picture. So we are going to do it right over here with Abby's fun setup. So we just want to kind of, okay, yeah, grab a shot, and then we are just going to kind of gather in here and get a really fun group picture with everyone, and then that will be it. Oh, while she's finishing that, I have a couple quick announcements. August 2nd is our 2-year anniversary party. It is only for members, but we have a beautiful pool that we're going to be at, which is going to be really fun. Our members also have a once-a-month virtual connect and co-work. So we get online, connect a little bit, and then get SIP done. And then August 24th is our next networking event right here. So we'd love to have you guys that are guests. I think you guys are guests today. Nice, I love it. You girls, we love our, and then who's our business besties? Like drank the Kool-Aid, they're in, they love it. It's so fun. All right, so we'd love to have you guys come back, not only as, of course, as a guest if you want, but as members. You can come twice per year as a guest. Otherwise, we ask you to come and kind of come and drink the Kool-Aid and be a part of the gang. And then one other thing, on September 29th and 30th is our Rise Summit. And together and like Bubbly, we rise. So this is our conference here that we have for women in business. And it's going to be an incredible weekend. We have some amazing speakers that are going to be flying in. And we got some really fun speakers, some of our chapter directors. And it just is a really incredible weekend to equip you, to empower you, to give you tangible takeaways for your business growth, as well as your community. Ticket prices, if you want to save $100, do it before the end of the month, otherwise they go up. And the website is just businessandbubbly.com/summit. I'll send out a little recap email so you can have access to that as well. But it'll be our third one, and it's one of the most fun weekends. So come join us at the summit. And all right, we're gonna grab our picture, and then thanks for coming, and hopefully we'll see you guys next month. So we're gonna gather over here. I was gonna take the fun picture for us. Layers.
Another layer in the front. If the squats in front.
Yes, so girls who want to come kneel in the front, you can totally kneel. There's enough space.
I will.
There's no way we're all going to fit in the back row, so it's just going to be like this. And then I'm going to come. I'm just going to turn this off because I don't need you to focus me on all this.
That's my business, you guys.
I don't business. Alright, everybody. You can't see the camera cannot see you. I'm going to come squat right there. And now I'm
Sorry, guys.
Sorry, Cherry. I think we. So when I taste it, it's gonna take a couple shots. All right, smile. Like, there you go. Smile. Everybody cheer. Woo! Thank you.
All right, ladies. Thank you so much for coming. Make sure you make a connection out of here, grab coffee together, and we will see you guys next month.